I was shocked that Shero got fired. I admit that. I thought they'd at least let him finish the season. Tom Fitzgerald is in the GM chair right now, at least on an interim basis, and there are rumors swirling that he's just keeping it warm for Brodeur, who will eventually take the hot seat. Now, according to Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet, one of the best and most renowned sports analysts and insiders out there, says that Brodeur's not interested in the GM job. But he is interested in continuing on as an assistant GM or VP of hockey operations or whatever with the Devils. He just doesn't want to take the hot seat. So we'll see what happens over the summertime. We'll see what Fitzgerald does at the trade deadline. But before we dive into that, I just wanted to talk quickly about what Shero has done, and I'm not sure it was necessarily his fault or ownership fault for the retool as opposed to a rebuild in what one could arguably say the Devils should have done. And, I mean, Shero made some good moves. I mean, he picked up Palmieri. That was a good move, right? That was a good trade. Taylor Hall, that's a no-brainer. I mean, the gift that keeps on giving, really. He had the one good year, and he was injured for most of the time. But really, Taylor Hall for Adam Larson, that's a no-brainer. Will Butcher, that was a great pickup. Sami Vatanen, another great defenseman pickup. PK Subban, I mean, yeah, his numbers have taken a dive lately this season with the Devils. But, I mean, I know I expected some regression from him, but not this badly. He still has 2 more years left at $9 million. The Devils got they have some cap space room right now. I don't think it's gonna hurt them. So I mean, and they didn't give up much for him either. Like, was it a couple of second rounders? So I mean, probably his biggest faux pas was drafting Zaka. Pavel Zacha, and instead of, I got a little list here, Mikko Rantanen, Zach Werenski, Timo Meier, Matthew Barzal, Kyle Connor, Tamas Shabbat, and Ivan Provorov, who are all drafted after him. So, yeah, that he gets a big fat F for, right? But otherwise, he did a decent job. So, and again, was it him or ownership that kind of pushed him to retool because they wanted to win right away? Sometimes these things take time, and maybe the slower climb might have been the best route to take in this case. And they've got a lot of great young players coming up, and Hershiser, and if I'm probably butchering that name, but you know who I'm talking about, and of course Hughes. And they have a lot of good prospects and stuff. Blackwood is looking really good, and they could draw. Really, they'll probably draw in the top 6 again in this upcoming draft. So there's a lot of good things to look at, which is why I thought they'd give him more of an opportunity, and hopefully they don't push Fitzgerald or rush him into making some of the same mistakes somewhat. And give this guy at least a little time to build this team now that they have some of these great youngsters, some of these building blocks in place. Let's look at Cap Friendly here and quickly and just talk about who they might be able to trade, right? Because, I mean, okay, there's Wayne Simmons. He's making $5 million. He's 31. I know he's a bit of a pylon out there, and he's a minus player almost always, and he's really dropped off really last year, before and after he was traded from Philly to Nashville. But maybe they could pick up, like, I don't know, a 5th or 6th rounder tops for him and retain a lot of that salary. I mean, Jersey has got, how much cap room do they have right now? They've got a lot of it. The second most in the league, just over $13 million. Only Colorado has more space at just over 15. So they could eat some of the salary for these guys they want to trade at the trade deadline and get some, some higher draft picks / prospects. Then I'm still looking at the forward group here. There's players like Kyle Palmieri, Nikita Gusev, and Blake Coleman, who still have this year and next season until they become a UFA. Blake Coleman, they have at 1.8 million. Maybe they want to. I mean, he could be very valuable at the trade deadline, as well as Gusev and even Palmieri. I mean, Gusev is kind of the youngest of that group at age 28. Maybe they want to hold on to him and see what they have. But Palmieri, hey, if the deal, he's making 4.6, and if they ate a little bit of that too, they could land themselves like a first round and a prospect or something. It's not a bad idea. Looking at the defense, there's Andy Green, who's the captain, and Sammy Vatanen, who are going to become UFAs. I mean, Andy Green's 37 years old. The problem is he's got a no trade clause, and he's making $5 million. So it's up to him if they could, swap him out to a contender or not. Probably not for much, but maybe a couple of high draft picks. Vatanen, they could probably get a lot for him, and he doesn't seem to have a no trade or anything here, and he's making 4.875. They can move him out as well. And don't forget Louis Dominique, who's just signed for this season at 1.15. There might be a team out there, aka the Toronto Maple Leafs, for instance, who could really use a half decent backup goaltender. He's 27 years old. So yeah, there you have it. I'm not gonna extend this any longer here, but I would love to hear what you have to say about this, Jersey fans, about the firing. I mean, and the coach goes just a little less than a month ago now. They're cleaning house. Might as well burn it down to the ground and get as much value that you can from some of the older guys on this roster. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button if you like this video. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. And hey, if you happen to have any hockey geek friends, please don't feel shy about sharing. Thanks again. See you soon.